How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. We have some big news to cover. We have a lot of things happening with the certain exchange. A lot of people are worried about it. There's some drama going on, and it is Binance, one of the biggest exchanges out there. There are rumors that people are being paid $20K to FUD Binance. There's huge withdrawals. There's a massive amount of liquidations. There's also maybe some funny business going on with Blackrock. So we'll talk about that. We also have Nvidia earnings, which are coming up in about 10 minutes. So we'll get through as much as possible before the Nvidia earnings. If you don't mind, just drop a like so that way we can start off the video strong. Drop a like, and if you want to share this to someone, feel free to. But also hit subscribe. There's going to be a question answer section further into the video. But if anyone says, hey, what's the blank news, Blackrock news, what's the Nvidia news, what's the Binance news, whatever it is, you can direct them to start from the beginning. But if you want to trade crypto, there's a link underneath the video to Margex where you can start trading in just a few seconds. There's no KYC. You don't need a VPN. And just a friendly reminder, if you are not trading crypto, you should not keep a bunch of crypto on an exchange. Like, don't put your full-time bag, don't put your HODL bag over on Margex, to be clear. Like, I'm not putting in all my crypto into Margex, just the stuff that I want to trade with, right? And we need to remember that. And some of the reminders that we'll see here in a second are very important. But that's the great thing about Margex is you can trade on this, right? This is not like a long-term buy and hold place. You deposit crypto in, you trade with it, and then if you want to take profits, you pull it out, or you can leave it in if you want to trade it more. But let's start here. Nvidia earnings. Nvidia earnings are coming here very soon. So in the next 10 minutes, 15 minutes, we should get Nvidia earnings. This has been the darling of the stock market. Even though it's down 1.6% right now, it's up 13% this month. Over the last couple of weeks, up about 30%. I mean, just doing so well. So a lot of people will be watching this. There are some rumors too. The Nvidia Q2 whisper numbers from JPM Trading Desk. Apparently, revenue is expected around almost 30 billion for the quarter, which is nuts, compared to 27.44 or 28.5 guide. And gross margin is expected to be 76.2%, which beats the 75% guide. EPS is expected to beat by 8%, something like that. And they're expecting high forward guidance as well. So that's just the whisper number. Who knows what actually comes out? But I think this is part of the reason that Bitcoin has been fluctuating a little bit. There are a lot of hedge funds that sold yesterday. We can see that with ARK, right? Selling off $100 million worth of Bitcoin, and BlackRock going from a $200 million day to nothing, and a $200 million day the day before that to nothing. A lot of people are just like, we better just hold off and see what happens with Nvidia. Maybe we need a lot of cash to buy the dip. There is some fear about Binance right now. There's something that has been kind of passed around over the last day. Binance has seized all Palestinian assets at Israel's request, which is interesting. Some people are saying if this is true, we may see a run on the bank at Binance with many customers demanding withdrawals all at once. Kind of a political move, and they have commented on this. Apparently there are rumors. I don't know if this is true or not. I'm not getting paid to FUD Binance. I think usually that's unfounded. Like, I've worked with many exchanges before, and they would just say, hey, there's FUD about Binance. Maybe you want to, talk about our exchange, right? Maybe they don't even say anything. Like, I haven't heard anyone say that in the last day to like push our exchange because there are problems with Binance or anything like that. So I'm not so sure about the 20K. Of course, I'm not the biggest YouTuber out there, but yeah, just weird. Yi He, I'm not sure if I said that right, but the co-founder and chief customer service officer at Binance says this is the world full of conflict and competition, good and evil together. Maybe you don't know who to trust. Do your own research. Okay, so yeah, I mean, I'm not being paid to FUD Binance, but if you do want to trade, you can trade over on Margex or CoinW or Blowfin or WEEX. There are links to all those underneath the video. That's why I have multiple exchange links, because you can make your own decision. Of course, some of them have big airdrops like Margex right now, but obviously some of those allow spots, some don't allow spots, so you have to make your own decision there. But you can see, even if it's just FUD, there is a lot of Binance spot selling right now. Like, a lot of people maybe selling and then going over to cash and then withdrawing, because we're seeing large withdrawals too. Look at this. 45,000 Bitcoin worth 2.6 billion has been withdrawn from Binance in the past 24 hours. And to be clear, I think Binance is still fine, but yeah, I would pay attention to this. If this continues, I'm not trying to spread FUD, but I don't see a reason why you would keep your crypto somewhere where everyone is withdrawing. Like, that's just kind of a red flag, right? Why would you do that? There's no point in it. They lost 10% of their Bitcoin in a day. So yeah, if you have crypto on any exchange, like, withdraw it to cold storage unless you're going to trade. That's been my rule for a long time. Like, I'm not just keeping 20% of my crypto on some exchange unless I'm going to sell it or trade it, right? So pay attention to that. Some people talk about like free Palestine. Some people are, getting more into the political side of it. But Binance, MENA, which is the Arabic region, I believe, says, don't believe the rumors. This is translated, by the way. They wrote in this originally. Only a limited number of user accounts associated with illicit funds were affected when making transactions. As a global cryptocurrency exchange, we adhere to internationally recognized anti-money laundering legislation. Just like any other financial institution, we will continue to educate users on how to safely transact on our platform. Most importantly, we hope to achieve lasting peace throughout the region. Okay, yeah. So no matter what the reason is for it, obviously they do need to comply with anti-money laundering. If that's as far as it goes, I'm okay with it, because every company out there has to do that, especially when it's money related. This is not like Twitter trying to report on their users, right? Saying what they're looking at. It's different because anti-money laundering is more universal, and on finance platforms it's different. But if they're doing this at the behest of different countries, freezing different assets, it gets sticky, right? I'm not being political, but obviously there is a little bit of difference. Now, Connor Kenny, let me just take this down and then I'll put it back up. I have to do something just so that you can hear the audio here. Let me share screen, and then this specific window, and then audio. Okay. He talks about how this may be connected with BlackRock and some manipulation that could be happening right now. Let me play this for you, and then I'll get your thoughts on it.
Very easy to manipulate the price. Do you know who might be manipulating the price, in my opinion? BlackRock and the other institutions. These guys are sneaky. These guys are not our friends, and these guys will do things on the back end that no one expects. Things that may be considered unthinkable. They don't care about absolutely destroying the lives financially of many people as long as they get what they want. Now, remember, guys, yesterday we spoke about a massive inflow for BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF, 224 million, right? I don't think it's $224. 224 million for BlackRock. Now, they got that inflow yesterday. As we've already discussed here on the channel, there is a delay of people buying Bitcoin and them buying the Bitcoin for it. So people buying the ETF and then BlackRock actually buying that Bitcoin. So I put it to you that I'm not saying they are doing it, but if you were an institution that wanted to buy $224 million of Bitcoin and people were buying it, here, where we were yesterday, here, where we were yesterday, if you manipulated the price, or you saw there was a reason the price might fall, so you actually helped that fall, you actually edged it along, 7% discount on 224 million. They can just buy it now, and then they have the Bitcoin that people bought yesterday, right? This is the kind of thing that I believe is happening in the market. I don't have.
Now, he says he doesn't have any evidence to support that, but we know that there's manipulation all over the place. I mean, just look at some of the stuff that's happened recently with some of the politicians and some of the big social media platforms. There's definitely weird stuff happening all the time within the financial markets too. And there are fines for that sometimes. I think the SEC just charged a bunch of financial managers a couple of days ago. So there's weird stuff happening all the time. If you think that they're not doing some shenanigans to make some money, you're wrong. Now, let me know what you think about that. I'm not saying BlackRock's necessarily doing that. It's just theory that that's something that could happen. Now, moving on, and again, we'll go through some questions. If you don't know about the Binance news, scroll back. And Nvidia is coming up in a second, so we'll have to switch over there to see if there's anything going on. But Vice President Harris tax proposals. This is on Fox News, and again, not getting political, just looking at the facts. This was talked about by the economic advisor over on CNBC, that they did confirm an unrealized gain tax. We'll actually play this clip too in a second. So they say moving the corporate tax to 28%. It's currently 21%. Capital gains tax, 45% currently, 20% unrealized gains tax, 25% currently, 0%. Now, to be clear, I think this is just on people worth 100 million or more. So I don't think it's going to affect most people. I'm sure there are a couple people that watch this channel that are worth more than that. But the fact is most people won't be affected by that. And Steve, appreciate it. State in the U.S. Allows most options to buy crypto. I'm not sure exactly what you mean. State in the U.S. allows most options to buy crypto. Yeah, I'm not sure what you mean exactly. I mean, when you get into crypto, different cryptos, if you're trying to buy smaller ones, you might have to use various exchanges to buy different cryptos because they're not available on every single exchange. A lot of people do like Mexi before they started requiring KYC because they do list a lot of smaller cryptos. But moving back over here, this, I think a lot of people would get screwed out of long-term wealth. I'm not even sure. I know this would affect everyone, right? Everyone would be taxed higher at some point or another. But if you think about like the capital gains tax, this would basically try to get wealthier individuals to pay 45%. But the fact is most wealthy individuals would probably shift how they trade, or they're so wealthy that they can get around this kind of stuff. And they just wouldn't sell very often or ever, right? This just makes it so that there's some things that you just wouldn't want to do anymore. Like if you bought a house, let's say you're middle class, you bought a house, it went up in value, you made $100,000 on it, you had to pay $45,000 in tax. Now, I assume that this is, I think I remember that it scales up, but this is like long-term capital gains tax. So that means even short-term capital gains, if they move this up, it'd probably be like your own tax level, which is where it's at now. And then long-term, it could move up to maybe 45%. But wealthy individuals wouldn't pay this. They just wouldn't sell things. So that means less individuals selling their houses, less individuals selling stocks. It's just going to go up in value. And then it's going to be harder and harder for people to even buy homes, I think, which is crazy. And then obviously tax rates going up would affect the S&P 500 and affect stocks in general. Unrealized capital gains would be extremely hard to pay. They actually talk about this here. Let me play this clip for you too. I have to do the same weird thing where I take this down and then put it right back just because I need to add audio, share audio. Okay, we should be good. Nvidia earnings on deck, but let's play this. This is pretty heated.
Unrealized gains, taxing unrealized gains just doesn't seem fair in any sense of the word. In the very best sense, if you were taxing unrealized gains, all you're doing is pulling forward the taxes that would be paid later when someone actually sells the stock.
I think that this reaction to unrealized gains is a little funny, given that I bet that the majority of people watching right now are already paying a tax on unrealized gains. It's called a property tax. When the value of your home goes up,
it's a use tax.
When the value of your home goes up, you pay higher taxes, even if you don't sell your home.
Your value of your home never moves the way the stock moves, the way something else moves.
That's always the go-to answer.
It's also, property tax is a use tax. You're paying for the schools, you're paying for emergency services. Those are things that make absolute sense.
And sure, and all the revenue that comes in from these unrealized gains taxes and the other taxes in the Harris plan are going to go to creating what she calls more opportunity. It's to make sure that every newborn born in this country gets $6,000.
Using the services.
Well, look, you're arguing that this is some sort of foreign concept that's completely unknown in the U.S. tax code.
It's probably unconstitutional. It's probably, and it was never in anyone's intent to tax.
It's not an income tax,
and it's never going to happen. Probably. Not I'm not going to say my lifetime.
I wouldn't say that.
Not in Becky's lifetime.
Okay. I mean, obviously that doesn't affect most people. Like I said, let me just get back to this. It won't affect most people because it's at a certain level, but the fact is that opens a door to allow this at even lower levels, or, you know, in 10 years, maybe they don't move up that $100 million status to, you know, move with inflation. So eventually most people will probably be millionaires like that. I know it sounds crazy, but that will happen probably 50 years from now, 60 years from now. $1 million the next $100,000. And then, you know, there'll be more and more people that become 100 millionaires and more taxes. And yeah, I mean, property tax is also a little bit different because let's say you have $1 million home, you might pay $10,000 to $20,000 in property tax. Okay. But if you have a business that's worth $10 million, or let's obviously the tax comes in at 100 million, but let's just say for this instant, you have to always pay unrealized capital gains. Let's say you have a business that's worth $10 million and you still have that $1 million home. The fact is, like, if you're not getting enough cash flow from that business, but it becomes worth more, like on paper, that's going to be really hard to come up with that liquidity. So I don't know. It seems crazy. It seems like it's going to be really bad because you're also going to get people that constantly dump money or dump shares onto the market, like from smaller companies or from growth tech startups, or just like, you know, Elon Musk gets paid $50 billion in shares and he has to go sell a bunch of shares. And maybe it's just that he gets options, then he has to exercise the options. He has to sell half of his shares. That's going to be nuts, or a quarter of his shares. Obviously, that's going to cause big red days in a lot of the big tech companies. Now, maybe that actually provides a nice buying in point for some of these companies because their wealthy CEOs have to constantly dump off shares. It's just kind of crazy to me. Let's see if there's any news on Nvidia. Let me just check this real quick. Salesforce had their earnings come in. We'll check up on that. CrowdStrike came in with a slight beat on revenue and earnings per share beat as well. I know you can't see anything here. You're not seeing the screen, but just checking to see if there's any news on Nvidia. Nope, not yet. So let's keep moving on. Block production on Ton experiencing further disruption. This is coming from Ton blockchain. Yesterday they were down for hours, and now they're down again. Apparently, or they're having disruptions. Not great to see. I mean, let's take a look at Ton crypto price. Also, if you do want to trade Ton, you can do that over on Margex. They allow that. You can trade on leverage there. But as you can see, like, big drop from $6.80 down to $5.50 now. Not too bad. It jumped up a little bit from $5.11. But yeah, not great to see this continuously happen. Mr. 100 buying some Bitcoin here today. Let me just reload the page and see if he did any more buys. Yeah, he just did one more buy. Just a small, cheeky 108 Bitcoin. So yeah, buying 520 Bitcoin here today. Not too bad. Not too shabby. Okay. You can see here Bitcoin dominance coming down slightly. DXY moving up a little bit, 101.1. That could be part of the reason we're seeing a little bit of weakness. OpenSea received a Wells notice. I don't know if you saw my last video. If you haven't seen that already, like, it's pretty crazy. They're getting a Wells notice from the SEC. The SEC is most likely going to sue them because they think NFTs on the platform are securities. If you want to see that last video, I give more of my thoughts on that. Again, just kind of wild. Let's take a look at this though too. We got CrowdStrike and Salesforce earnings. I don't think we've gotten anything from Nvidia yet, but it should be coming out any minute. Let me know in chat if you see it. Look at this. Salesforce CRM earnings, $2.56 versus $2.36 expected. I actually bought last earnings report because people were pretty disappointed with it, but honestly, I thought that they did really well. You can see just a slight jump, but they fell down to like 225 or something like that, 218. I think I bought right around 225. And now, you know, the fact is they are a quickly growing company, and I still think they're doing quite well. But yeah, they beat on earnings, beat on revenue. CrowdStrike also, who bricked all those computers, revenue 963. The estimate was 958. Adjusted earnings per share, $1.04 versus 97 cents. Let's look at CrowdStrike stock. up 2.3%. Okay, not too bad. Nvidia still not moving. Okay, let me see if there's any other news. Then we can take some questions. Looks like some volatility now, actually. Let's see. It's just shaking. I haven't seen that before. But let me just go over to Twitter. Feel free to drop any questions. I saw some people asking about like cold storage options. We can talk about that. Looks like Telegram CEO indicted, must post a €5 million bail and report to police. Okay. What else? Any other big news happening right now? Okay, he was put on supervised release, must not leave France. Interesting. Okay, looks like there's not anything else really going on right now. Someone else gives their opinion of the Kamala news. Let me be clear, if Kamala somehow forces a 25% unrealized capital gains tax, the flight of capital out and subsequent collapse of the US markets would be absolutely breathtaking. And the ultimate result would be far lower tax revenues than we have right now. Yeah, I mean, I think there would be a lot of wealthy individuals that just leave completely or find a workaround. And yeah, a lot of people, I think a lot of people would not invest like how they invest now. Like even I would, I'm not at 100 million, but the fact is, even if they raise capital gains tax, like I'm going to look at different ways of investing, right? We'll get to Nvidia in a second, but let's, fell down a little bit. Maybe there's some news there. Nvidia. Okay. Treasure or Ledger? I think both work well. There was some, I don't want to say scandal, but I think there was some thing that people were worried about with Ledger a while ago. I think it's that they're not open sourced. And Treasure is, if I remember right. Just do your research on that. But I think if you like the fact that Treasure is open source, I would probably use that. But I mean, you could use half on one and then half on the other, like put, or if you have like 4 wallets, you could do half on Ledger, half on Treasure. Okay, most people, I'll start here and then we can scroll down. Most people will have to sell to pay the unrealized gains. Yeah. Criminal. BNB is pure manipulation. Yeah, I mean, the fact is the price of BNB did not go down much in the bear market. The fact is, though, they're allowed to like buy back their own crypto. So like they can set a certain level, and like if it falls below $100 or something, we'll buy it back heavily. I know that's not the price of BNB, but like it's just like a stock buyback, so they can do that. The question is, is there something sketchier going on, some kind of manipulation? But yeah. Which exchange? Binance had some big news. Scroll back in the video. I'm not spreading FUD. I'm not getting paid to FUD. Like there's some rumors on Twitter that influencers are getting paid. But main point there, well, go watch that part of the video. But main point is if you're not trading with the asset, withdraw it from the exchange, put it on cold storage. And then if you do want to trade, like move it over there. Or if you have like, I don't know, if you have a $10,000 portfolio and you trade with $1,000 of it, you can keep that on the exchange, but don't just like leave the majority of your DCA stack on the exchange. Now that makes it's harder when you're trading a bunch of cryptos. Like if you constantly buy 10 cryptos a week or every other day or something like that, and then they're all like withdrawals that you have to do, it's kind of a pain. So just keep that in mind. There's some level where it's not worth it. If you have a $5 fee and you buy $25 worth of crypto, it's probably not worth it. Let's continue. So do you have to pay 20% unrealized gains when you hold, then pay 45% when you sell? So I think how this works is you're basically prepaying for when you sell, which is kind of crazy. Like let's say they move it up to 45%. Maybe you pay 25% unrealized gains, and then like that is taken away from the future payments that you would pay when you sell it. It's going to get very convoluted. I saw a couple like billionaires talking about it on the All In podcast, and they said we're going to have to hire teams of lawyers and accountants just to deal with this change. Like everyone's going to have to pay for all these extra steps to evaluate how much everything is worth just to comply, if they even stay around. Go on to Nvidia reports, please. I will definitely do that. I'm just not seeing it yet. And maybe it came out. Did it come out? Let me know. Let me know if it came out. Let's see. Okay, earnings per share. We have it here. Nvidia's earnings per share. The adjusted EPS was $2.70, which was well above the expected $2.09. Revenue was 10.32. That's not right. I don't think those are even the right, unless this is like a trailing. Maybe this is trailing. The expectations are off from what I saw earlier. Let's see. Nvda stock earnings. I saw like 64 cents. So I'm guessing maybe that's a trailing. Let's look. Nvda. Okay, someone says that they're out in 16 minutes, which will be 5 minutes from now. Yeah, I don't think Marty Party's correct. Unless I'm missing something. Let me know if I'm missing something. 50% insurance increase coming. Yeah, I mean, the fact is, like, it's just going to make it so much harder for someone, even like, especially the capital gains tax. If you actually make good money over time in the stock market, or like you invest in a 401k and then you sell it eventually, right? Or you invest in a brokerage account, you sell it eventually. You could be investing this whole time for 40 years and then you just get taxed 45% or up to 45. Of course, like I think there's a scaling mechanism. So maybe you don't get hit with the 45, maybe you get hit with the 25 or something. But that's insane. You get paid, or you get taxed 18 different ways. You get taxed when you make money. You get taxed if you invest it, or if you spend it, you get sales tax. You get taxed if you hold it, whether it is, or yeah, whether you use it for a house or a car or something, you get taxed. Like each year you have to get a new registration. If you get an EV, maybe it's even higher, right? I've seen there are states where it becomes much more expensive to have an EV registration, or like the more expensive your car is, the more you have to pay each year. You get taxed on your property each year, depending on how much that's worth. You get taxed when you spend the money. Again, just going back through that, you get taxed when you spend it. They get taxed if they receive your spent money. You get taxed if you invest it when you sell it. And then you get taxed again if you sell it and then invest it. I mean, think about that. Like, you earn money, you get taxed right away. Then you invest it. You keep it there, you get taxed when you take it out, and then you get taxed when you spend it. Like, there's a triple tax. It's nuts. And you get taxed if you hold it for too long too. Like you might get a unrealized gain tax. What's a good ledger? You can just go to ledger.com or something to find it. Just make sure you go through the official one. Someone says, I prefer Treasure. Yeah, that's fair. Question, what's your preferred wallet for Solana-based coins? I mean, if you're using a hot wallet, probably Phantom. I haven't looked at a bunch of cold storage options for like smaller coins. Don't you have to pay transfer fees? I'm not sure what you're talking about. Oh yeah, transfer fees for the cryptos. That's why it's like, it can be difficult if you're buying a bunch of smaller cryptos all the time, especially if they're on like a clunky blockchain that's expensive. Nvidia earnings announced in 2 minutes. All right. Let's see. Why am I watching this? Good question. Why are you watching this? No, we went over Binance and some news there. We went over Blackrock, something that they might be doing to make some extra money that they don't want you to know. We went over Mr. 100, going over Nvidia in a couple minutes. Do not comply. Simple. I mean, Some things you just have to comply with, though. If they change the tax law and you don't comply, that's a good way to go to prison. You don't pay the taxes, you get your body taken away. You don't need to pay taxes. Yeah, I mean, it depends where you live, right? If you want to know what exchange I'm talking about, scroll back in the video. And yeah, so I did talk about that this would apply to people with 100 million in net assets, but you have to remember, like, those numbers won't get moved up every year. So eventually we'll probably, like, it might be, let me do one thing. Don't spam anything in the comments because I'll just ban you if you're just like talking about some random coin or something. Okay. Yeah, like it probably won't be raised. So it starts at 100 million. Okay, maybe we need to lower it to 50 million. Everyone seems to like it, they say, or something. And then it never gets raised, right? Like the fact is it's just like a slippery slope, in my opinion. I think it's kind of crazy. And yeah, sorry. Sometimes it takes me a little bit to get down the comments, but yeah. My heart bleeds for the billionaires who have to spend more on lawyers to figure out how to screw Americans. Yeah, I mean the hard thing is, though, like a lot of people want to be taxed more, want the billionaires to be taxed more and stuff. This maybe is my own opinion, but the fact is, like, the government's not good at spending money. So if they get more money, they'll still be at a deficit, first of all. And second of all, they'll just spend it on the crap. Like, I think I'm turning more libertarian over time. Like, just don't tax us, cut the spending, or not. We'll pay taxes, obviously, for some stuff that we need, but like, keep taxes the same or cut them and then shred the budget, which they just won't do. They won't do. Okay, Nvidia might be out. Let's see. A little bit behind. Need to pull back up Nvidia. Okay, so just a reminder, expectation 64 cents on EPS, 28.7 billion. Ooh, big move in Nvidia. Look at this. Huge spike, huge dip, then back to 124. So earnings definitely came out. Let's see. Nvidia, revenue 30 billion. EPS was 68 cents compared to, I think didn't we just say 64 cents was what was expected? I mean, it depends where you look, obviously, but Nvidia stock, let's put in earnings. We'll get on to some of the other news in a second. Yeah, 64 cents, 28.7 billion. Nvidia adjusted gross margin 75.7. Estimate was 75.5. Honestly, looks good. Obviously, we need to look at their expectations for guidance, but yeah, I think that's honestly pretty good. Revenue, I mean, it's really good as a company. Like, I would, if I was working at the company, I'd feel very proud of this. But yeah, like, it's good for even expectations. Do we have any forward guidance? $50 billion buyback announced. Blackwell samples are shipping. I believe that's a new chip or some new technology that they're doing. I'm not actually invested in Nvidia except through some indices, but yeah, that's awesome. And it does affect the general market. Like we said, I think there were some hedge funds that were, maybe taking some profits or taking a little bit off the table here, just to be able to go buy in case there's a dip in Nvidia or in case they beat too. Like, I think they did well. Lot of volume though. Nvidia earnings, investor relations. That's where we need to go. I want to see what their forward guidance was, and then we'll go through some more questions. We'll see if there's any other news. Maybe I'm missing it here somewhere. Financial info, press releases Q2. What 2025? Are we in 2025 for them? I know they do their accounting kind of weird. Okay, yeah. So I think we're in Q1. No, we're in Q2 for them. Sorry, their financial accounting is just weird. I saw that earlier today. Like they're off, but maybe second quarter. Yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll figure out what their guidance is in a minute. But yeah, just hard to find right away, I guess. Okay, we have to ban some other users. Sorry for the people spamming stuff about some crypto. Okay, just getting rid of all these. Oh, sorry, I deleted someone. Someone said late arrival something, but I deleted it trying to delete all these freaking bots or whoever's trying to pump crypto. I don't want to say the name of it because they might clip it. Be careful out there. There are scammers as well. I saw someone emailed me talking about some AI deep fake that they got scammed by. Yeah, there are deep fakes, so be careful out there. Okay, just banning. I see some people saying, yeah, get rid of the spam. Okay. I think we kicked everyone out. Okay. Let's see. Nvidia second quarter professional visualization revenue up 20%. Yeah, obviously there's a lot more to look at. More of these tokens I have to ban. Might need moderators at some point if we do more lives like this. If you go to dinner and that guy had lobster and ribeye, shouldn't pay less than the people that had the soup du jour. I don't know what you're saying there. What exchange are we talking about? You can scroll back and then see. Let's see. Nvidia. Yeah, Nvidia dumping a little bit now. Again, maybe they gave some guidance or maybe you can find it somewhere. But yeah, down pretty big. What, 5% or so? 10% from the peak? Honestly, maybe it's the guidance, but so far what I saw was pretty impressive. Well, really, really impressive, I should say, but even impressive compared to what they were expecting. High demand for revenue chips. Yeah, maybe it's freaking. This is unbelievable. Like, let's just pull this up. Qualtrum, visualization of Nvidia. I know everyone knows that Nvidia is a good company, and they just are questioning like the price of it. Let's see, Bitcoin falling a little bit, but probably just because of the Nvidia stuff. Everyone knows Nvidia is a good company, but just like, is it too expensive? I mean, look at this. The same quarter last year, if this is right, which it should be, they did 13.5 billion. Like they over doubled after they doubled from the year before. Like this is just nuts. This is quarterly cash flow. Let me see if I can find the actual earnings release. Yeah, let's see. A lot of people saying it's dumping hard. Okay. Need to delete some more of this crypto. Yeah, I'm gonna have to maybe add some people. I see a couple people offering to be moderators. Let's see. Can I just delete everything that has? Okay. You know what? I'm gonna see. Maybe I can put a limit on how much people can write. That's annoying though. Okay, 1 second here. Just trying to make it so that people won't spam. Okay, we're slowing. You can only post one every 60 seconds. Just too many bots. Okay. Hopefully the bots go away because they can only post every so often. Okay. Anyways, let's keep moving. Yeah, like I said, like incredible growth. Maybe we can find the actual earnings here somewhere. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if I'm just missing it here. Second quarter of 2025 financial reports. Okay, this is it. I don't know why it didn't show up before, but revenue 30 billion, up 15% from Q1, 15% growth just over a 1 quarter period, up 122% from a year ago. We'll move on to crypto here in a second too. Record quarterly data revenue up to 26.3 billion, up 16% from Q1. Let's see. Do they have free cash flow? Cash flow. No. Maybe it's framed as something different, but they did 15.4 billion to shareholders in the form of share repurchases and cash dividends as of the end of the quarter. That was just in the first half of this year. As of the second quarter, the company had 7.5 billion remaining under its share repurchase. They're doing another 50 billion. Next quarterly dividend, 1 cent. Gross margin 75.1. Operating income 18.6. Net income 16.6. Let's show that again here. Net income 16.6. Last quarter was 14.88. Okay, 16.6. Right? Yeah. So 16.6 plus 14.9. Maybe I can write these down. 14.6 plus 16.9. Is that what it was? And then I think I got those flipped around, but it doesn't matter. I'm just adding these up. Plus 12.3 plus, what was the last one? 9.24. Net income was 53 billion over the last year. Okay, so it's still, it's still pricey compared to other stocks, but it's still growing as well. Obviously this is a cyclical business, but if they did 16 billion for the next 4 quarters, like obviously that's going to bring up their free cash flow significantly, or their net income. Like it's doubled since last year. So yeah, let's go back to Nvidia stock. Let's take a look at that, and then we'll move on to crypto. 120. Honestly, like I said, I think it's pretty good. I mean, their earnings were fantastic. They beat on expectations. Let's see if they have guidance, whatever it is. No, maybe forward looking. Forward. Yeah, I don't think they gave any other forward guidance. Maybe that's why people are a little bit worried, because they didn't give forward guidance. I think that would cause some people to be worried, but they'll probably talk about it on the call. See if there are any Nvidia investors after the stock is down after being estimates. Just confused to death. Okay. Yeah, I mean, there's not too much news right now besides that. Blackwell production speculation. All right. So yes, if you have not seen the news from earlier, you can go scroll back on the video. We talked about Binance, Blackrock, Kamala Harris, taxes, Mr. 100, DXY, Nvidia, all that kind of stuff. I guess I can answer a couple more questions and see, and then we'll close up the stream. Been here for about 45 minutes, so not bad. You know what I could do? I could grab a beer and we could sit here for a couple more minutes. Ooh, that might be a good idea. Well, let me grab a beer. I'll leave this chart open for you, and I'll be right back. Just got a mini fridge, so I'm good to go. It's gonna be stocked. Leave your questions, and we'll be right back. Okay, just give me one more minute. It foamed up everywhere for some reason. All right. Sorry about that. Yeah, no idea why it foamed up. I did not shake it at all. But yeah, let's talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. We'll go for like another 10, 15 minutes. We'll see what's going on. If there's any more news, if you guys want to know what I'm drinking here. And I thought about just going whiskey because, well, just because I thought maybe that was the way to go. But instead I went with Founders Backwood Bastard. If you've never had this one, it's a very dark beer. It's a very heavy beer. It's 11%. It's ale aged in oak bourbon barrels. So not a bad way to end hump day. That is good. All right. Check out Salesforce. Okay, let's start there. Someone says, is it a course? No, but I do have cores in the fridge. CRM. I am invested in CRM. Nice. 4%. Yeah, I covered their earnings earlier. They beat, I mean, look at CRM too. It is a pretty chart. Like, yeah, revenue by segment continues to increase. Free cash flow is pretty significant. Earnings per share, dividends, shares outstanding continuously going down. Ooh, we could do a little bit of well, how am I trying to phrase this? We could look at some different stocks. I could talk about my portfolio. You guys could tell me some different stocks to look at. Obviously, CRM had earnings. CrowdStrike, Nvidia, those are the big ones today. Dan, if you want to scroll back, there's some news about Binance, some big withdrawals, some speculation about what they're doing, like freezing some accounts for political reasons, that kind of stuff. Buy BTC and get a beer, two things we all agree on. Yeah, definitely. I mean, those things seem pretty much like they go together, right? How low do you think Bitcoin could go? I mean, in theory, it could go to 0. So there's always that chance. I think that's a pretty small chance. If we're talking about like realistically in this little, maybe like this little channel that we're in, I mean, I think it would be hard to go back down to 49, but who knows? There could be something that comes out that forces us back down. I know some people are calling for 44. Honestly, I didn't think we'd go down to the 40s in general when we're up in here. Even when we hit the 50s, I didn't think we'd go into the 40s. But I mean, there's always a chance of that. I think we have hit the lowest point. I think this will be the lowest point here. I would not be surprised to see us start moving back up, especially with September coming. I think there's not much going on right now with a lot of people on vacation, a lot of the hedge funds on vacation. So yeah, I think we could go lower, but if I had to take a bet whether we're higher in a month or lower, I'd probably say higher. Okay, I'm drinking local Cyprus beer. Kio? Never heard of that, but sounds good. Double black label whiskey all day. Nice. What is it? Some friends of ours love, what was it? It's some whiskey that they're discontinuing. It's a big brand, but it's like Black Label, I think. Yeah, I like whiskey. I have a pretty bad palate though. So I mean, I have whiskeys I like and whiskeys I don't like, but I'm not like a connoisseur. Like I can't really taste a lot of variation. If you put 2 or 3 in front of me, like I'd have to drink them a decent amount beforehand to know which one's which, I think. I'm puffing on chronic instead. Is it cold? Yeah, the beer's cold. Even though it's foamy, it is cold. We just got the mini fridge. So you're taxed on paper gains? Yeah. Yep. That's what it sounds like for the really wealthy individuals, which is tough if you're in a liquid asset. It's a Bud Light LMFAO. No, it's not. Looks like a bad day for crypto tomorrow. I mean, the fact is, though, crypto does trade 24/7. So, and actually, it's moving up a little bit. Let's see. Do we still have Nvidia pulled up? Do we not have Nvidia pulled up? We should have Nvidia pulled up. The fact is, it's trading 24/7. So it is the liquid market. But yeah, if everything starts to fall tomorrow, then Bitcoin might have a little shock. But you can see Nvidia moving back up. Maybe people are diving a little bit deeper into the earnings. I'm not sure. That's when you buy, buddy. Yeah, when there is a dip, that's when you dollar cost average. Drinking midday and midweek. Woohoo. Yeah, not midday here, but yeah, it is midweek. AI coins feeling some pain at the moment. Yeah, let's pull up CoinMarketCap. Let's see. What is up and what is down? Dogs. Meme coin, I'm assuming. Let's scroll down. It's on a lot of different exchanges. Ton. It's related to Ton. It's a vibrant community-driven initiative built on Ton blockchain. Interesting. Market cap 750 million. Yeah, I haven't heard about this before, but it's up. It's up 20%. Oh, you know what? I think I saw someone posting about this, that this just launched. Let's see. I think it just launched, and they were complimenting the fact that it launched and did really well, even though Toncoin was doing crappy. I saw Rob from Digital Asset News talking about it. So interesting. Yeah, they're doing well. Obviously, they had some liquidity, maybe from some founders or some like people that are going to invest in it that could throw at the coin to prop it up. Maybe the first couple of days. Immutable up a little bit. Aave, Helium, nice. By the way, if you don't already use Helium, if you're someone that wants a little bit more money to throw at the crypto market for these dips, you can switch over to Helium. I actually have a link for Helium underneath the video. A lot of people don't realize that like HNT is a crypto, but somewhat tied to their core business. But the fact is they actually have a contract worked out with T-Mobile. They use T-Mobile towers and they give you a $20 a month phone plan. So there's like this whole hotspot network. And if you're not using the hotspot network, you get T-Mobile towers. It's actually really cheap. I've seen some like traditional finance influencers talking about it. And I used it for months now and it's good. So if you want a $20 a month phone plan, you can actually get rewards like token rewards as well. There's a link to it underneath the video. Get the first month free. So check that out if you want it. I've worked with them for maybe 8 months or so. I've really liked it. Ordi down 15%. Sats down 12%. This is 1,000 sats. So what this just prices. I forgot exactly what this is. I mean, I know what sats are, but it seems like this is off from what a conversion of 1,000 sats is actually. Yeah, it paid homage to Satoshi. It's equal to 0.1001 Bitcoin. It's a meme token. Okay, that makes sense. I was gonna say 1,000 sats is not the price of 1,000 Satoshis, unless I'm going crazy, because it would be like 6. It would be the price of Bitcoin just to a different decimal place. So something seems off with that, because Bitcoin's 100 million sats. Injective down 11%, Near down 11, Maker down 10, Polygon down 10.4. They're doing a big conversion as well. I don't know if you saw that. There's some weird stuff happening with Matic. I didn't have much of it, but I actually sold the tiny bit that I had just because I didn't want to have to deal with the conversion. I just put it over in Solana. Like, I had a very small amount, less than 0.1% of my portfolio. So I just kept like enough for a couple transactions, or like, I don't even know. The transactions are so cheap on Matic. It might be 1,000 transactions, but I kept like a couple Matic or something and sold the rest. Core down 10%. This is one that I actually hold. Interesting. It's tied in with Bitcoin. Sui down 8.4. Yeah, just a bad time for altcoins. Like, yeah, let's pull up Bitcoin dominance. Actually, I have it here. Bitcoin dominance at 57.3. Yeah, it's just looking ugly. Let's reload the page here. It's been a tough time for anyone that's been heavy into alts. And I know a lot of people were like, okay, it's the bear market, let's invest in alts because they're going to go up so much. If you bought alts during the bear market, you're probably up in dollar terms, but you're down so much. Like, let's say you bought at the very bottom of the market. You bought alts at the end of 2022. Bitcoin dominance was 41%. I mean, obviously there's some alts that outperformed like Solana, but man, that is tough. Like, the fact is, if you bought alts at 41% Bitcoin dominance, and now it's 57, you almost lost, you lost a significant amount versus if you just bought Bitcoin. There's a 17% difference on that. Luckily, we are very heavy Bitcoin here, and I've talked about that for a long time. We are, I'm 80% Bitcoin. I mean, the fact is, though, this is leveling off. Like, you can see it's going from like a pretty quick move upward to leveling off here. And actually, this is a pretty key level. Let me go back here. If we scroll out here, I'm not even sure I can show this on the day. Let's go to the, and sorry, I know I'm not answering many questions, but we'll get to questions here in a second. That's not what I want. If we look here, how do I get this out of the way? There we go. Okay. We got rejected right around here and went below this line. Actually, you can see it. It's off a little bit, but we got rejected, then went above, obviously. But we're stuck at this psychological level. I see some people posting this chart on Twitter too. And I'm like, this isn't really relevant anymore. You can manipulate charts so it looks a certain way, depending on the wicks too. But we're broken through this trend line from like the 2020 market, but we're still at this key level of 57%, 58%, like right in here. Obviously, we're just slightly above it now, but we've gotten rejected by it once. We haven't like cleanly broken above it. So maybe we move up to 60. I think that's another key level, 60%. But I would expect an alt season pretty soon. I mean, the fact is, though, there is just a lot of money that's buying Bitcoin. There's a lot of big money, and they're not buying alts. You know, Blackrock's not going out into a ton coin anytime soon, in my opinion. But I mean, that's going to come at some point. They're going to have, you know, crypto indices and stuff. For everyone wondering what I'm talking about, what exchange I'm talking about, you can scroll back in the video. Someone says stop ignoring the chat. Not trying to. Yeah, I'm not trying to. I just talk about some other stuff. Okay. Numerous people are asking about what exchange. So just a heads up, in any live video, you can always scroll back and you can find it. But we did talk about Binance. So if you're looking for the full video, you can scroll back. I went through like the segmented part. Now we're just chatting about what's happening. So when I'm filming in my car, does my car have full self-driving? Yeah, so I have a car with auto steer. So yeah, we are driving safe, and I would not drive unless we were in a very safe place too. Like, yeah, just in general, there's not much going on. How many L2s are on Ethereum now? Yeah, I mean, there are a lot. And the fact is more keep on popping up, like you say. I think it's easier to invest in the layer ones. But even that, like, as time goes on, you understand after being through a market cycle or two why there are Bitcoin maxis, right? Like when you go through a bear market, it is excruciating. Even bull markets can be excruciating unless you buy like in the exponential time. Like I guarantee you, if you had bought, I don't know, when BlackRock announced that they're going to have the Bitcoin ETFs, and you see it a couple days late, and you buy it like right here, and then you move up to 70,000, like you made 75%. I bet you're fine there. But then this point is excruciating. Like if you're going to hold for a year in crypto, you have been through a lot, but obviously through multiple cycles. Like there are just cryptos that completely fall off the map. So yeah, I mean, there are more Bitcoin maxis, I think, probably every cycle. I hit the like twice. Ooh, appreciate that. Going into other accounts just to hit the like. If you guys don't mind hitting the like too, I appreciate that. If you do want to trade crypto, there's a link underneath the video to Margex. And there's a link to Blowfin and CoinW and WEEX if you want to try something else. Why Binance? We talked about that, so you can scroll back. Thank goodness I switched to Bitcoin only mindset. Yeah, I mean, the fact is, it's tough. It is tough when you have altcoins, and like, we're not developers, or I'm not a developer, right? You're probably not a developer either. Like we understand the technology, but the fact is there's stuff that we do not understand. And I think Bitcoin in general is easier to understand. You can dig in a lot deeper with Bitcoin than you can with like 8 different alts that you feel so strongly about. At the end of the day, it's a lot of speculation when you are investing in other cryptocurrencies. There is not an earnings report that comes out every quarter where you see the revenue, you see who's invested in it, you see their earnings per share, you see dividends and shares outstanding. Like that kind of transparency just isn't here. So you have to do a lot of the research yourself, and that can be very difficult. Jeremy says, Nvidia will open around 126.6. Interesting. Yeah. Let's see where Nvidia is now. 120. It's hard because even on a dip, like it's still up so much, and it's an expensive stock for good reason. It's a great company. Someone says scroll back. He said Margex. I've said Margex a lot in this video, but not the get your crypto off the exchange part. That was because of some news about Binance freezing assets, large withdrawals, and large spot selling. So scroll back there. I hit like 4x. Nice. I'm not sure if you mean investment, like ROI, or if you mean you hit like 4x. Either way, great job. Someone says, like it would kill you to recap. Yeah, I mean, the fact is people are jumping in every minute. So it's hard to recap everything every 5 minutes because we're talking about other stuff now, but you can scroll back. Can I send crypto out of Margex with no KYC? Yep. So you can deposit, and then you can trade it, and then you can withdraw it, no KYC. How much do you think Russia will trade starting on the 1st of September? I know a lot of people are watching that. I'm guessing it'll be pretty small, honestly, because that's how it usually goes. Like people are so excited, and then there's just not much that happens. Maybe they don't even trade on September 1, but like they'll probably start trading soon thereafter. I just always set my expectations a little bit lower, so that way, you know, we realize that there might be a sell the news kind of event. I believe Bitcoin will pump on 1st of September as soon as big commercial entities in Russia can buy and trade Bitcoin. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely possible. There are a lot of sell the news events, but then there are a couple events that aren't sell the news that are just fundamentally extremely bullish that like change the game. Like even now, people are complaining because Bitcoin's at 60,000. Like look where it was a year ago. BTC price. 1 year ago, we're at 28,000. We're up 126% in the last year. It's one of the best performing assets. Like, I don't think we have room to complain, but some people, buy at the wrong time or lose it. So, yeah, I mean, the fact is, there are fundamental things that just change the game, like Blackrock. Even though there's some manipulation stuff, it's been good for the price of Bitcoin. What are you looking to short or long in the very near future? When we have good buying in points, when we have a lot of fear in the market, I like to long Bitcoin. Sometimes other alts, but Bitcoin I think is easier to tell, easier to read the charts. But in general, yeah, I go after Bitcoin. Like we put a trade in here, put a trade in here. Earlier today, I actually put in a trade. I didn't even time it perfectly or anything like that, but I put in a trade. I put in 2 trades right around this point. I think one was 58.2 maybe, and it fell down below this line. I was down like 40%, and then it went right back above, and I sold. I sold out the whole position, and we made like 50%. I actually put I think it was 1 Bitcoin cash in it, just because I had some Bitcoin cash in the account, and yeah, that's paying for my dinner tonight. That's paying for my steak. Have like 50-50 BTC and alts, maybe 60-40, just thinking buy the dips. Yeah, I mean, in the bull market, dips are meant for buying. It seems like we have forever until we don't. And after you buy in, inevitably, it will dip further. You'll feel stupid most likely. And then, it will go up, and then you'll be like, I feel stupid because I didn't buy enough. Right? That's always how it goes. The key is to always feel stupid. Feel stupid when you buy and feel stupid when you sell, and you're probably doing okay. Right? When you buy and you feel stupid, you usually feel uncomfortable when you're buying in a dip. Then you feel uncomfortable selling when we're pumping. Hit it twice. Also, bro, great content as a newbie here on the channel. Appreciate it. Yeah, thank you. Juanito says, I work in fintech, and even here at work, all these problems with payments, I see it automatically. Think Bitcoin fixes this. Yeah, I say that all the time. Like every single problem, it all comes back to Bitcoin. Like Bitcoin seems like it fixes everything. Of course, Bitcoin can be clunky and that kind of thing, but yeah, I mean, Bitcoin is a beautiful, beautiful thing. I'm 50-50 between alts and BTC. Sometimes is a bit hard. Yeah. I'm waiting to swap alts to BTC without losing. Yeah. I think a lot of people are. I think that's something else that people don't realize. Like there are a lot of people that have just been smoked on alts. They're just waiting for like a decent time. Like even I'm waiting to sell some Ethereum. I feel like I'm overexposed to Ethereum versus Solana, but there just hasn't been a good time. So I've been like slowly, waiting for that to happen. But Solana has just kept on outperforming. Probably get more money if folk watch from the start, Sam. Am I right? I mean, I might get a penny or something. Maybe. Ad revenue is pretty low, actually. I think it's a half a penny per view or something like that. It's gone down recently with just, I think, crypto companies in general not advertising as much. I think I get $5 per 1,000 views, or maybe a little bit less or more than that sometimes. Okay. Are you bullish on the last months of 2024? I'll just go quickly through some of the stuff because we've been on for a while. Yes, I am bullish on the last month, but who knows anything could happen, right? Coinbase is still good. Yeah. I mean, I think companies based in the US, especially ones that are trading publicly, I think that adds extra levels of protection. But I guess there should be some rule because, I mean, well, if you're legal, you are fine. Yeah, I mean, the fact is they can still get sued by the SEC. So even if they're like legal, the fact is like they can get companies that come after them and sue them, and then they could go bankrupt, for example. But as far as companies go to hold your crypto, I think Coinbase is one of the safer ones for sure. Like I do have some on Coinbase, but yeah, the fact is like I'm not keeping the majority of my bags on there. I think there should be a rule basically depending on how many cryptos you hold, and then also like what the transaction fees are and what the cost of the wallet is. Like if you have over a certain amount, you should keep it in cold storage. Now, if you look, maybe ledgers, I haven't looked recently, or treasures, maybe $50 or $40 on the lower end. Never get one used or anything like that. Only go through the official website and that kind of stuff. They run sales around holidays too. If you have maybe a couple $1,000 in crypto, it might be worth it. But yeah, if you have $1,000 and you're looking at like $100 treasure, if you're looking at one of the more expensive ones, it's not worth it in my opinion. Of course, do your own research. Like if you know that an exchange is going to go down, take your crypto out. But the fact is, like, spending 10% on cold storage is kind of just too much, in my opinion. But yeah, if you have like $10,000 and you're not willing to buy a $40,000 treasure or ledger or something, I think it's worth the investment. Nvidia earnings call happening now. Okay, cool. I'll probably dip out before, like, I don't want to sit in here for an hour and a half listening through it in Nvidia earnings, the call itself. By the way, if you're watching this for the first time or you're like a newer viewer, feel free to hit subscribe so you can see future videos. What's your top meme coin? Ooh, I cycle through different memes. So I don't know if I have like a long-term buy and hold. I'm not in any of the mega cap meme coins. Do I know of any crypto meetups where you can buy and sell P2P? Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think if there are names of good ones. I know that I know someone in California that goes to those sometimes. He used to live on Bitcoin for a while, and I think he would exchange Bitcoin for literal cash at these meetups to pay his mortgage, which is kind of wild. Just refinance my second property for more crypto. Sweet. Yeah, I hope it goes well. 3 and 4 hour hin bull, divergent, Bitcoin 1 hour reg bull. Okay. Yeah, I mean, we're bouncing and we're hitting higher lows, so that's bullish. If you hit the like button twice, it cancels out, bro. They're just trolling. Yeah, fair enough. The 2 sips of beer I've had have lost my quick-wittedness on that. But yeah, I mean, if you don't mind hitting the like, I appreciate that. You should have swapped your ETH for Sol in the last dip, and you would have recovered better. Yeah, true. What does anyone know about how much it costs to move money off Margix or Blowfin? So Margix, I believe, you can do your own research on this, but they have estimated amounts for how much it takes to withdraw or how much it will cost, but then they adjust it to what the actual fee is. Like they have a set amount because they do withdrawals once a day to batch them to get cheaper withdrawals. So they have like an estimated withdrawal. Then when they do it, they change it to whatever it costs at the time. So sometimes it's cheaper than what they say, but they pretty much just charge whatever the network fee is. Okay. Why misleading info, man? I'm not sure what you're talking about, but if you want to see what I talked about earlier, you can make your own call, whether it is good information or not. But yeah, there's some interesting things happening with Binance and Blackrock. So I think we're all good here. Let's see if there's any other news, and then we'll get out of here. Ooh, guidance for Nvidia came out. 32.5 billion, another beat. I'm not sure what the guidance was going to be or what the expectation was, but let's see something. I mean, they're expected to hit 28.7 billion this quarter. And what did I just say? 34. Nvidia's falling right around 120. It's settling into 120, I should say. Okay, guidance 32.5. So 32.5 divided by 28.73. I mean, from the expectation of this quarter to their guidance for next quarter, that's a 13% jump. Obviously less than that because they beat significantly, but still, I mean, they're guiding for more future growth. Like they had 30 billion. They're guiding for 32.5. So they're expecting to grow another 8% just between this quarter and the next quarter. And they usually beat guidance too. Okay, everyone's talking about Nvidia. Nvidia Q2 revenue the last 10 years. 10 years ago is 1.1 billion. Now it's 30.04. Even 5 years ago, 2019, 2.58 billion. Now 30. It's gone up 12x in the last 5 years. That's crazy. I hit the like button to cancel out all these other degens trying to be clever. Appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, just one more reminder. If you are wondering about what exchange I'm talking about, you can scroll back in the video. Not trying to be short with everyone, but we've talked about that a couple times. And yeah, we covered the information earlier in the video. So you can just scroll back. Okay. Where to move Bitcoin from Binance safely? Most DEXs don't support BTC. Yeah, so I would suggest cold storage. All right, I appreciate everyone for being on here. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to see future videos, you can hit the like button and hit the subscribe button. And there's a link to Margex underneath the video, and Blowfin and WEEX and all those other crypto exchanges in case you want to try out a new exchange. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.